competition nutrition. So the main issue what we face nowadays is the focus of the athletes. Okay, where are they focusing? Okay, actually, how it should be prioritized. The nutrition of a sports personality or athlete. How is it? How should be prioritized? Okay, first, most of the priority should be given on a overall nutrition. Okay, macronutrient, micronutrient, a balanced diet based on the intensity of exercise what they do. Okay, based on their calorie demands, energy demands. Okay, based on that, an overall meal plan, that's the most important thing. Then we will focus on the timing of meals. Okay, 2 hours before workout, during the workout, post workout. Okay, so then comes the timing. Okay, that's the second priority. And last priority is the supplements. Okay, if at all there is any minor deficiency which has to be corrected with food groups, you are not able to achieve the correction of micro deficiencies. Okay, at that point of time you can definitely go for supplements. But what is happening, what the reality what we are facing now is the focus is more on supplements. Okay, the athletes are not they do not have enough confidence in the meal plan, but they are more confident about the supplements that they take. Protein powders, supplements, any energy boosters. Okay, creatine. Okay, so such supplements, they think that these things will aid them, but not the food. They can't achieve uh, what they want to achieve with just a meal plan. Okay, so that's a wrong way of thinking. So the focus has to be reshifted back to the foundation of your basic nutrition. Okay, so that's what we have to analyze here. So dividing the entire competition nutrition into 3 segments. Okay, before the competition, during the competition, and after competition. So a week before the competition, what all strategies you have to plan while training a athlete. So complex carbohydrates, 1 week before you have to start indulging in complex carbohydrates, because that will keep your insulin level regulated. Okay, we have to keep the blood glucose level and insulin level regulated. We do not want uh, like as soon as the insulin level spikes up, or if there is a sudden dip in the blood glucose level after having simple carbohydrate, sudden rise and sudden dip. Okay, that will lead to snacking, a lot of snacking. Okay, unhealthy snacking. So we have to avoid that. So focus more on simple carbohydrates, because that will help in storing the glycogen than burning it out. So can you just give me a few examples of complex carbohydrates? Whatever you know, some examples of complex carbohydrates, which food groups can have that? Quinoa, whole grains like brown rice, etc. Fruits and vegetables. Anything that is over processed will automatically become simple carbohydrates. Okay, so the way how you cook the vegetables, okay, do not use too much of oil or do not over process it. Don't use any packaged items. Okay, try uh, low oil sort, low fat sauteing, steaming or boiling. Okay, so that will keep as much as simple carbohydrates intact. Sorry, that will keep as much of complex carbohydrates intact in the food groups. Okay, so you can start giving these kind of food recommendations. Okay, smoothies. Okay, glucose is usually preferred as a best energy source for activity of high intensity. Okay, glucose rich foods, because we want to store, we do not want to deplete any of our glycogen store, neither from the muscle nor from the liver. Okay, diet rich in carbohydrates and low fat. Protein and fiber can be in moderation, not too much or not too low. Okay, in moderation, but low in fat, rich in carbohydrates. That's what we are focusing on. And the energy, the calorie requirement, we do not have to increase the calorie. Okay, for example, an athlete requires, let's say, 3000 kilocalories per day. Okay, a low intensity athlete requires 3000 kilocalories per day. Okay, calories intake should not change, because if you change the calorie intake, there will be some shift in the weight. Okay, we do not want to shift the weight. We want to maintain the weight that the athlete has. We just want to change the proportion of the calorie intake. Okay, now we are focusing, majority of the calories should definitely come from carbohydrates, very low calorie from the fat. Protein and fibers will remain in moderation. How it was before, the same amount will be followed in the pre-competition week. Okay, sufficient intake of fluids to prevent dehydration during competition. You can indulge in sports drink. Okay, sports drinks, fruit juices, smoothies. Okay, when you're getting ready for shorter duration sports, okay, like a single swimming, a sprint, uh, any short duration sports, okay, like any dance competition. So fatigue is usually not caused much by short duration sports, so you do not have to worry more about that glycogen is getting depleted. Okay, in short duration sports, your glycogen is not getting as depleted as in longer endurance activities. Okay, so within less than 60 minutes, if you are refueling yourself, okay, that is more than enough. And appropriate glycogen and fluid intake before and after the event will make sure that the performer is not fatigued. Okay, and the performer is focused, is on alert mode, and he or she is not fatigued. So you don't have to worry much about the glycogen stores when you are dealing with an athlete who is performing for a short duration sports. Okay, anything that is less than half an hour, okay, less than half an hour or something, any sport event that comes, that lies less than half an hour, it comes under the short duration sports. So no need to worry much about the glycogen stores here. Next, coming to endurance competition, where it is more than 90 minutes of any sporting activity like cycling, marathons. Okay, um, in such cases, rehydration, primary source of energy should be carbohydrates. Okay, carbohydrate gels, sports drinks, goos and gels are the same thing. Okay, it's slightly slimy in texture, texture. Okay, and other forms of carbohydrates are focused here to deliver the valuable glycogen fuel. Okay, and in endurance activity, obviously within an hour or within 45 minutes, the athlete will start depleting the glycogen stored. So in 45 minutes or within an hour, the athlete has to make sure that they are either drinking sports drink or having a gel or goose, carbohydrate goose. Okay, to refuel themselves. Okay, so that they don't reach the level of depletion either from the muscles or liver. So for 3 days before the major event, the carbohydrate load should be 5 to 7 gram per kg body weight every day. Okay, for at least 3 days before the competition. When there is just 48 hours left, okay, that is 2 days left for the competition. At that point of time, 10 to 12 gram of carbohydrates, that is the high intake of carbohydrates. Okay, when you put it into calories, okay, a whole lot of calories will come from this particular side. So you have to go very low on fat, very moderate on protein. Okay, maximum calories should come from the carbohydrates. So 10 to 12 gram of carbohydrates per kg body weight in the when there is just 2 days left for the competition. Okay, so this is how you prepare the endurance at the athlete for endurance competition. Any endurance competition that is less than 90 minutes, okay, marathons will not come under this. So any endurance activity like boxing or wrestling, something like that, which is less than 90 minutes. And even of weightlifting, okay, weightlifting, or there are some swimming performances that can last more than half an hour. Okay, so in this cases, muscle glycogen stores get depleted, but liver glycogen stores won't get depleted. Only muscle glycogen stores will get depleted. But in endurance competition, where the activity time duration is much more than 90 minutes, muscle as well as the liver glycogen will start getting depleted. Okay, so we have to give them high carb load. But here, liver glycogen stores are not affected much in endurance competition less than 90 minutes, but definitely muscle glycogen stores will get depleted. So taper the training during the final week when there is just 1 week left for the competition. Day after the day, just reduce the amount of time the athlete is spending on high intensity exercises or training. Okay, if the training is high intensity on day one, or if there is just 1 week remaining for the competition, on day one, just allow the athlete to train for 6 hours, and day two, just cut short 1 hour for 5 hours, like that. Slowly taper down the amount of time spent on high intensity training. Okay, carb load can be measured by 7 to 8 gram per kg body weight for at least 3 days prior to competition. This is what you have to maintain. Calories should not get affected with this. When you are increasing the carb load, definitely reduce the amount of fat used in the diet. If you have weekly events like, let's say, IPL matches, football matches, okay, World Cup final, or some state finals or something, where every not just on a specific day, but throughout the week you will have certain matches for certain days. Okay, you will not have enough day to rest, or you will not have enough days to train hard, okay, for that particular important day. Okay, for example, semi-finals and finals are important matches. Okay, so initial few matches, okay, in that you may not require too much of like you may not require like too much of carb load. Okay, but on matches that falls on the important category like semi-finals and finals, for that you have to taper down your workout schedule. Okay, you have to rest more. Why you have to rest more? Because you have to save up your maximum glycogen stores and liver glycogen stores for the important day of the matches. For other matches, you can follow the same training intensity, you can follow the same carbohydrate intake. Okay, so low intensity training has to be done 2 days prior to the match. Okay, taper only for the important matches. For other matches, the initial few levels of matches, you do not have to taper down on anything. You can do your high intensity training, along with that have a carbohydrate rich diet. Okay, and you can still perform well. But if your team has been selected for semi-finals or finals, then you have to cut short your high intensity training time. Okay, increase carbohydrates on final 2 days. Okay, 8 to 10 gram of carbohydrates per kg body weight. Where final 2 days specifically, it's an important match day. Okay, calorie intake will always remain the same for the entire week. Do not mess around with the calories. Do not bring about any drastic shifts in the weight of the athlete. Okay, it will definitely affect their performance. Proportion of macronutrient will change. That is the amount of carbohydrate what we give, what we used to give, and what we are giving now. Only that proportion will change, but the main calorie, the end result of the calorie, whatever is the calorie for that particular athlete based on their weight, intensity, training, etc., the calorie intake will not change. Only the proportions will change. Okay, definitely the proportions will have a very high amount of carbohydrates, low amount of fat. Protein and fibers will remain the same. There is no much change going on in the protein area. Avoid meal caps which are longer than 3 hours. Means within every 3 hours, the athlete has to consume either meal or pre-snack, or any small snacking, or a sandwich, a fruit, a single fruit, or a salad, something like that. Every 3 hours, the athlete has to eat something. Do not fast longer than 3 hours, except for night when they're sleeping. So when you are in a competition where weight category is of importance, for example, weightlifting, kickboxing, wrestling, etc., that the athletes has to come under a specific weight category. So in this case, always try to remain close to the upper limit of the weight. For example, if you are in a 60 to 65 kg, 60 to 65 kg range of weight category, okay, always try to be closer to 65. Okay, because what happens when the competition nears, okay, when the day of the event or competition nears, definitely nervousness, okay, uh, tension, anxiety will kick in, and it will definitely affect the appetite of the athlete. Okay, they, even if they are hungry, they may not feel like having the same proportion of food. They may try to skip meals, and it may affect their weight. Okay, so that is the reason why we have to keep the athlete closer to the upper limit. Okay, even because of anxiety attacks or because of stress, even if the athlete is not indulging much into the diet, it should not affect their competition category. Okay, do not lose lean tissue. Okay, if you are trying to reduce your weight for the competition, do not lose your lean tissue. Do not deplete your glycogen stores. And how you will do that? Avoid fasting. Do not fast. Okay, avoid starvation. Okay, avoid dehydration. Always be stay well hydrated, and give your body enough time to either gain weight or lose weight. Okay, do not try to bring about major changes in your body weight within few days or within few weeks. Okay, give your body enough time to put on, either to put on weight or to reduce weight. Okay, avoid starvation for weight loss, because if you're starving, you will definitely lose your lean muscle tissue. Along with that, you will deplete your glycogen stores. So these are the main guidelines which you have to give for athletes who are in the weight training categories. So on the day before, okay, a day before or night before competition, top up your muscle glycogen using complex carbohydrates. Stay very well hydrated. Okay, carbohydrate rich meals should be provided, like rice, chapati, okay, quinoa, bread, white bread, brown bread. Okay, these all are carbohydrate rich meals. The sandwiches, oats. Okay, light intensity exercise and well rest has to be given on the day before. Okay, do not push the athlete into high intensity exercise just a day before, because it may the athlete may get worn out. Okay, glycogen stores may be depleted, and the athlete may not get proper rest and recovery to get ready for the competition day. Okay, so we have to encourage them to do only light intensity exercise. Okay, so that the metabolism stays high, and maximum rest has to be given to them just a day before event. Do not skip evening meals, because out of stress and anxiety, the athletes may tend to skip evening meal. Okay, so do not skip any evening meals or dinner. And whatever food you give on 2 days before competition, not just on the day before, okay, even throughout the entire week of competition, okay, do not give them anything new to eat. Okay, new cuisine or something new, it should be avoided. Familiar and simple food that the athlete digests well. Okay, the athlete's body know how to digest it well. Okay, so familiar and simple food has to be given. So staple food, whatever is the athlete's staple food, give them that. Okay, 70% of the energy should come from carbohydrates. Fruits, okay, a single fruit as a snack should be given. Supplements can be given if the athlete is not taking up enough fruits. Supplements can be given. Beverages that has ions and electrolytes to replace fluid loss. Okay, it can also be consumed. On the day of event, okay, here you have to top up your liver glycogen as well. Okay, so indulge in simple carbohydrates. You can also indulge in simple carbohydrates. Maintain your blood glucose levels. And when your blood glucose levels are maintained, you will never have hunger pangs. Okay, if you are frequently getting hunger pangs means you are indulging in a lot of simple carbohydrates. Your insulin levels are not static, your blood glucose levels are also not static. That's why you get hunger pangs. So if your blood glucose levels are maintained, if you are having complex carbohydrates, definitely your blood glucose levels will stay the same for a pretty long time. Okay, if the blood glucose level stays same for a pretty long time, you will never get hunger pangs. Okay, hydrate well. Okay, at least 2 to 4 hours before your competition, you should have your meal. It's not snack. Okay, not pre-competition snack, it's your pre-competition meal, should be consumed within 2 to 4 hours before competition. Okay, and in that meal, it's recommended to have at least 200 to 300 grams of carbohydrates. Whatever meal the athlete is going to have just before the competition, it should have this at least this range of carbohydrates based on the athlete's weight also. Okay, and whatever meal you're giving, you have to follow these guidelines. The meal should be low in glycemic index. Okay, so as much as raw fruits and vegetables and good fatty acid, essential good fatty acid, good amino acid, okay, like a chicken salad, okay, chicken salad along with some bread or toast, okay, peanut butter as well as bread, okay, along with some fruits and vegetables and some small salad, okay. Those things are low in glycemic index, okay, not the white bread, the brown bread, low in fat. The bulk should also be low, means for sometimes to maintain the calorie you may give them high quantity of food, okay. Quantity should be less, okay, but it should satisfy all these other categories. It should not be too salty, because if it is too salty it will cause water retention. It may cause a slight amount of edema which may affect the movement. Okay, if the body is edematous, if the body has is retaining a lot of water, it can affect the movement and quickness and springness in the athletes. Okay, and avoid spicy food also. We do not want to give them some gastric irritation just before the competition. Moderate amount of protein, no need to amp up the protein requirement. Moderate amount of protein will do, because soon after the competition during the recovery meal we will focus more on protein at that point of time. Okay, so moderate amount of protein should be given before the competition. At least 125 to 250 ml before 30 to 15 minutes of before event they have to consume it, so that they stay hydrated during the entire course of event. So this is what you have to do on the day of event. I have mentioned a smoothie picture here, because in smoothie you can, when you're giving them smoothies and all, it is able to fulfill all these categories. Okay, fruit smoothie or milk smoothie. Okay, it will be able to fulfill most of the categories which we have mentioned here. Smoothies are low in glycemic index. Okay, they do not have much of fat. The bulk is very less, just a glass of smoothie, 300 or 400 ml glass of smoothie. It's not that bulky, okay, and it's easy on the stomach. It will stay in the stomach for an hour or so, and the stomach will not feel bloated, okay, with just a glass of smoothie. Okay, it does not have much salt, just a pinch of salt, and smoothies are not spicy. Okay, and protein more requirement can be added with soya milk, almond milk, or any dairy product also. If your client has issues with lactose intolerance or milk is not suitable, definitely go for soy milk, almond milk, or any other vegan sources of milk. Okay, and smoothies will hydrate also. Okay, they will also give the hydration required to the athlete along with the nutrition. So giving smoothies on the day of competition is a very good idea. It comprises and it ticks all the boxes of nutritional requirements. Next, coming to what an athlete should eat between events. Okay, like for example, they performed for some 15 minutes. Okay, after that, there's a second. They have been selected for the second round. Okay, second round will start within an hour or 2 hour. So in such cases, when they are waiting for their turn to come, okay, what they can eat between the events. For that, I have mentioned few images here, but in detail you can check the table which is there on page number 284, table 15.4. Okay, between the events, sports drinks can be given, a fruit like apple or banana. Okay, boiled egg, a simple sandwich, not a club sandwich or something like that, simple sandwich, peanut butter sandwich, or a simple cheese sandwich, or like not the grilled cheese one that is too fatty. Simple cheese and tomato sandwich, okay, that could be given. Any antioxidant rich fruits like blueberries, juices, smoothie, okay, a cup of oatmeal, okay, a plain glass of milk, granular bars, rice cakes, okay, yogurt drink, or flavored yogurt. Okay, these things can be given very light. Okay, and it will these things, the main purpose of these snacks are to avoid hunger pangs. Okay, but also it is giving a very good nutritive value, nutritive addition to the athlete. And also whatever examples we have given right here, they are naturally rich in carbohydrates. Okay, so these all are the meal plans which you can give, or small snacks which you can give in between the events. On page number 284, a table is given. All those are the options easily available. Even in India, these options are easily available. It can be given. So after competition, what we have to focus on? So within 15 minutes or 30 minutes after competition, give the client, your athlete, some sports drink. Okay, or something sweet to eat, because they have to restore their glycogen levels. Muscles are ready to restore the glycogen levels within 15 to 30 minutes of an endurance event. Okay, so within that time frame, give them a carbohydrate rich snack, juice, or something to drink which they can easily gulp down. Okay, to eat an elaborate meal soon after the competition, it may be very tiresome. Okay, and if it was an endurance activity and they are having elaborate meal soon after the endurance activity, there are high chances they may vomit. They may feel nauseated and they may vomit. So don't give something that is too heavy. Okay, give the athlete some rest of 2 hours to give them the post workout meal. But before a half an hour, within half an hour, you should give them something light to drink. Okay, just to gulp down. No, that they don't have to chew much. Okay, they don't have to masticate much. Okay, something that they can easily gulp down. Okay, such snacks or such food items has to be given. So carbohydrate consumption, it stimulate the insulin, and it will when the insulin is secreted, automatically it will take up the sugar out of the blood, and it will be deposited back into the muscle, and there it will be formed as glycogen. So protein, here we have to focus on protein to restore and replenish and repair whatever protein loss the athlete has endured during the event. Whatever damage, tissue damage the athlete has endured during the intense prolonged exercise, that will be repaired with protein rich diet. Okay, as soon as the competition is over, we can tone down our carbohydrates, okay, within that day, and we can focus more on protein rich diet. So is it clear about competition nutrition?